Hey, hey, hey. How are y'all? May the 4th be with you.
I'm talking about the 4th.
Today is the 4th. Y'all are crazy. You're right though. Today is the 4th.
Today is the 4th, May 4th to be exact. But how's everyone doing?
I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm all about the 4th.
Listen. How's everyone doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Ready for the weekend, as always.
All right. How did your meet go, Mr. Chocolate?
Oh, something slight. We won undefeated for 2 years in a row. Just a little something.
He said, just in case you didn't know, now you know.
A little something.
Fantastic. Yeah. And what about you, Dr. Royal?
Girl, everything is everything. We're trying to wrap up with final exams this week for all those college students that knows what's going on right now. So I'm ready for the weekend. I'm just done for this whole week.
I get it. This week, being 100 has been a month long. That's what it literally feels like that. And I'm just like, good gracious, right? But I want to do it with grace and style. So that being the case, let's go ahead and get started. So Tamara.
Yes. So tonight we have a special episode featuring the young man and the young lady that you see before you. They are representing the Moorish Science Temple of America, also known as MSTA, Temple 39, located in Raleigh, North Carolina. The gentleman is Grand Sheikh Nasir Mayet El, and his beautiful queen, his wife, his backbone is Sheikah's Hope, again, Mayet El. So I welcome my family. As we folks say from the country, my brother and sister from another mother. So welcome to you both.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
So to kind of get things started, and thank you all for the chiming in. I see we got comments. Thank you all for joining us tonight. So to jump on in, I would like to allow our guests to have the opportunity to speak and share about who they are, as far as their businesses and as far as MSTA is concerned as well, specifically Temple 39.
Thank you so much, Dr. Royal. Pleasure to have us here. We appreciate you. Sister Black Pearl and Brother Tyrone, it's a pleasure. As you stated, I'm Grand Sheik of Temple 39 in Raleigh, North Carolina. My wife, Hope, she's the Assistant Grand Sheikahs. And basically, we're a family. We have young children and older children. And we have basically dedicated our life to uplifting fallen humanity. The main two things that consists of is teaching our people the truth about our ancient history, the truth about the God of your understanding, who we choose to call Allah. All nations and different people have different names for the one creator, but make no mistake, there's only one God. We teach about the truth about our ancient forefathers and foremothers. We teach about citizenship. We have a divine international movement that was founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And it's a divine international movement. So it's not just, as some people say, a religious thing. That's definitely, our foundation, but it's also a national aspect to the movement, and one without the others but have. So we teach a whole lot of information that has been held back from us. We're also entrepreneurs. We have our own business, Moorish Logistics, a trucking company, and we're also investors. So we're also independent business owners within a wonderful company known as BFX. Give you a quick plug. It means blockchain meets Forex. And basically, real quick, it teaches people Financial literacy, because as we be honest with ourselves, many of us, we wasn't taught how money works coming up in school. They'll make a lot of mistakes dealing with money later on in life. But we get a Harvard education for pennies on the dollar. And BFX is a true accredited school. It's not a bunch of people that got together and trying to teach something. They're a licensed, accredited school, and the best of the best. And they teach financial literacy about the markets of the world, the biggest liquid market in the world, which is the Forex market, which is the exchanging of different currencies of different countries. We learn all about that and how to profit each day, because it's a $7 trillion market. And it's just like me giving you 2 buckets going to the ocean, telling you can get as much water as you want every day in these buckets. And that's how it is on the Forex market. And we try to make all of our people, anybody, aware of this information, because a lot of it's been held back. And once you decide to want to know more and you begin and you like, wow, and before you know it, now you're making money. Not only are you knowledgeable, but you're making more money in a matter of 30 minutes, hour, 2 hours than you would all week working a traditional job. So that's definitely something for ones who are curious to, reach out and look into.
Okay. All right. So, I got a lot of questions. I don't even know where to start. Before I get started, audience that are watching, again, if you have any questions that you would like to present to our guests, please feel free to drop those comments, drop those questions in the chat. Madam Pearl will be pulling them up so that way our guests will be able to see them and respond to them. All right. So you hit on a major point that I had a question about, because oftentimes, look, let me get comfortable. Hold on, y'all. Let me get my legs together.
That's right.
I got to get comfortable. So one thing that you mentioned earlier is the fact that oftentimes when people think about or hear about Moors, and Moors is Moors. Okay, yes. I'm not saying More. That's not what I'm saying. I said Moors. Okay, so when we think about who Moors are, oftentimes there's this thought process of it being a religion. Mm-hmm. And I think, and I don't know, which is why thank y'all for being here, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that some of it has to do with the fact that the tie to the Islamic faith or Islamic principles in connection with the teachings. Can you kind of elaborate on that,
yes,
to help people understand, like, and look, and you may have to go on and dive deep and just break the whole foundation, like crack that.
Okay. We could go for a swim. We could
crack the ocean open,
Before I go any further, I do want to put this disclaimer out. I don't speak for the whole Moorish paradigm. I'm not the head of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Yes, anything that I may say in error, please don't attribute it to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and forgive me of my error. And anybody that can correct one of my errors, please let me know so I can straighten it out. Okay.
Absolutely.
I don't believe in causing any confusion intentionally.
Absolutely.
So there is a stigma that, okay, let me say this. I have a lot of people that come and be like, okay, I'm ready to be a Moor. I want to be a Moor. How do I become a Moor? Mm-hmm. You're born a Moor. We're Moorish from descent. Our ancient forefathers are Moors and foremothers are Moors. So, for example, if your ancient forefathers and foremothers were Chinese 100,000 years ago, and you're descendants of those ancient Chinese, that would make you Chinese today, not yellow. Are y'all with me?
Yes, sir. Got it.
We haven't lost you.
Our ancestors come out of the land of Canaan, the Moabites, etc. It's all in the Bible. Mm-hmm. We went by many different names. The God of your understanding, who we choose to call Allah, He has made us into nations and tribes. But make no mistake, we all have the same father and mother. Okay. Mm-hmm. We are Hebrew Muslims of Moorish descent. And this information was stripped. Our ancestors knew the truth, but at some point over here in the Americas, we was disconnected from who we were, who our ancestors were, who our God is, etc. And we went to sleep as Moors and woke up as Negro, Black, Colored, Coon, and now African American.
Whatever else, right?
And those are labels that was placed upon us. But God never made a Black man or a Black woman. He never made a Negro. He never made a colored person. He never made an African American. African American, those are two different continents. So that don't even make sense, right? So our descent is Moorish, and we're born in America. So our lawful nationality is Moorish American. Now the government has us down as Moors in the private, but in public it's Black and African American. So it's a reason why they don't want you to know your lawful nationality. They don't want you to know the truth about your God, of your understanding, the truth about your ancestors. They don't want you to know the truth about a whole lot of things because it's not in their best interest. Because once you know the truth, you'll never look at life the same, and you'll begin to hopefully be active and take your place amongst the affairs of men once and for all.
So for clarification, just in case someone didn't catch what you just dropped, what I heard you say is people who are born from a particular continent or country specifically, right? The example you gave was someone that was born in China. Their descendants, their ancestors are Chinese. So that's their nationality. What happens is, and this is my understanding, y'all chime on in if you feel free.
Come on.
What I hear you say is here in America, we get caught up on the race trip. And this is me talking. This ain't y'all talking. This is me. Okay. Now, again, I'm gonna throw my disclaimer out because sometimes I got to do that because sometimes I'll be going in and yeah. So, but here in America, we get caught up on the race trip when we look at people of color, if you will, because we don't say when it comes to who we are as being Moabs or anything or coming from that Moroccan descent, right? We say we're Black. And what I heard is Black is a color. And oftentimes we say that in, with our own children. Well, what color are you? Everybody, what color are you? What does color have to do with a doggone thing? Color is a color. That's something in a crayon box, right? So I'm listening to you, and I just want to make that distinction for clarity that what you're speaking to is nationality, not race. We're not even talking about race or colorisms.
Definitely true. I was speaking of nationality. I
Yes.
haven't touched on race yet, but I will.
Okay.
So everybody has a nationality. It's just that we didn't know ours. So we was hit with those labels, those misnomers, and now we promote it. And they also, if you think about it, they put they put millions of dollars, the media.
Oh, he froze up.
See, they shut him down.
Give them a second. They'll come back. Give them a second.
Bastards.
So it really sounds like, oh, there you go.
There you go.
Give them a second.
Look at him messing
You
with
froze up, Sheikh Nazir.
So I left off at if you think about it, right? So I'm gonna speak for myself. Prior to being introduced to Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Science Temple of America, I don't even think I heard of the word nationality, let alone knew I had one and what it was. You know what I mean? They spent a lot of money promoting those slave labels, those slave brands that we have on us, which are Black, Negro, colored, and now African American. If you think about it, you look at the media, they put millions and millions of dollars behind Black Lives Matter, Black Girls Rock, and the list goes on. Because they want you to continue to perpetuate that. And they want our children to think they're Black, etc. And they don't want us to know who we really are because our birthright was stolen. See, this thing, you know, religion and politics are touchy subjects. That's just a fact.
It is.
Right? And it's a necessary conversation because there's nothing wrong with not knowing this information, but to not want to know is what I, for lack of better terms, have an issue with. We have to bring awareness, and we can't. This is not a thing about our emotions and feelings. You see what I'm saying? It's about truth, and it's about law. It's not emotions. It's about facts, and it's about the law. Because some people think, like you said earlier, and I didn't answer that aspect of the question, as far as Islam is concerned, a lot of people, they hear the word more, automatically, they mind go to Islam, and not everybody, but they think about the Islam that they're used to seeing on TV, and then that's been pushed in your face, down your throat on the news. And that's not our way of life, so to speak. Our religion in the Moorish Science Temple of America is Islamism, which simply means the practice of peace. The practice of peace. We live by the 5 highest principles known to man, which are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And a lot of times we get caught up in religion and we get caught up in customs, etc. You know, the world is filled with a lot of religious people.
True.
It is true.
I'm like, it would take a moment to think about that.
Yeah.
So
I got some questions when
I do too, but we'll wait for him to come back on.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I was like, well,
I know we've never got caught up like
that. It might be something to it. They keep shutting them down. I don't know.
Hey, Tyrone, I'm thinking about a conspiracy. What about you?
I don't know, man. I was because I'm new to this. I was like, I don't know about this, but I don't know. They shut you down kind of frequently in this. You don't know.
So the last thing we heard from you, Sheikh Nazir, was the world is filled with a lot of religious people, which we all agree with. Yeah.
Right. So, but it's how many? Ask yourself how many. You know, we all know a lot of religious people, right? But how many? On a big scale, how many righteous people do we know? We get caught up in the wrong things a lot of the times. At the end of the day, regardless of what faith or religion that you proclaim, at the end of the day, according to my teachings, according to my studies, when I read the words of the true and divine prophets that have been sent to the various nations of the earth, at the core, at the root of all the messages, it's the same. And it's all about divine love and making the right choices and not putting anything or anyone before your creator. Loving your brother and your sister, treating them like you want them to treat you, not arguing about customs and this and that and this and that. And we missing the boat doing that. Our religion, Islamism, we teach to love instead of hate. Learn to love instead of hate. Jesus said the only savior of the world is love. So what are we arguing about? I can go to a church tomorrow. I can go to a mosque or any other religious setting, and I'm at home because I'm studied enough to know we the same. I can talk to them without alienating them. Because at the root of all religions, with different ways of life, lies the truth. And I can stick with the facts and conversate with any person in the world, despite their faith or their customs, and not get caught up in what we don't have in common, but stay rooted in what we do have in common. And that's the same mother and father, the same creator. And at the core of all the lessons is the divine principles. Now, whether we adhere to them or not is another story.
Right.
But all the prophets brought the same message. Now, in this modern era of time, which is kind of hard for a lot of people to even believe, because I was one myself. When I was introduced to Prophet Noble Drew Ali in the Moorish Science Temple of America, I'm not going to lie to you. Initially, when they said Prophet Noble Drew Ali and he was born here in America, you know, I'm institutionalized. I'm raised like everybody else. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, because I didn't heard a lot of people call themselves prophets and apostles and you know, nothing against that, not speaking radical, but I thought this was just another person who woke up, oh, I'm a prophet, that. And as I began to study and learn and sit under elders and study etc., I found out that that wasn't the case, that this man was truly divinely prepared by the great God Allah. And not only did he bring the same message of truth as the other divine prophets, but he also had a harder task. And his task that he had additionally that none of the other prophets had was, before I go into that, you think about it, all the other prophets were sent to a nation of people in a specific location of the world. The scriptures say that God, who I choose to call Allah, will send every nation a prophet. Every nation, not some, every nation, a prophet that's born amongst them, look just like them, and speak your tongue, so that you have no confusion as to what the truth is. So why should we keep looking across the seas when we're promised a prophet that's born here amongst us, look like us, and speak the language that we speak?
So everybody gets a prophet.
We was granted that. In the year 1886 was born Prophet Noble Drew Ali in the state of North Carolina. And the task that he had, the additional task that he had that the other prophets didn't have, when the other prophets, our people who they came to, they knew who they were. Like they knew their nationality. They knew their race. They had their culture intact. Everything was intact. They might have wasn't following the divine laws, but they knew who they were. Here on these shores, we didn't know who we were. He came to an unconscious people. We think we're crayon color. We arguing about, no, I'm not black, I'm Negro. No, I'm not Negro, I'm black. No, I'm not black, I'm African American. etc. And none of them are lawful nationalities. And when you go into the law and do further study, not to get too technical deep into this, but when you sign paperwork, you check I'm black or right, I'm African American or whatever, the government believe you. Whoever you identify by, that's what they're gonna believe you and treat you as such. When you check black or anything outside of what you really are, they know that you're still ignorant to the fact of who you are, regardless of how intelligent you are, and regardless of how many degrees we have, regardless of how many millions of dollars we may have, we still don't know the truth about our ancestors and who we really are and our relation to our creator, or we wouldn't be identifying by these slave labels. You know, lawfully, slavery ended in 1865. So why are we still walking around with these labels that was placed on us in the 1700s by these Europeans? We're saying we don't want to be ourselves. You know, we want to stay on the plantation, so to speak. And we must proclaim our nationality. If you look into the what's the name of it? The Bill of Human Rights. Help me out. Is it the Bill of Human Rights?
Keep talking, because Tyrone is all into history, so he'll probably chime in. And
Declaration of Human Rights, not Bill of Human Rights. Declaration of Human Rights. It speaks about that. You know, and they have the children ones too. It speaks about you have the right to a nationality.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So if they have in there, you have, this is just one aspect. Right. If they have in there, they're speaking about you have the right to a nationality. Why don't you take advantage of that right? What is my nationality? That's something we need to find out, because black is not a nationality. That's a color. It's an adjective. It's descriptive of a noun. A noun is a person, place, or thing. Black is descriptive. It's describing the noun. But what is the noun? The noun can't be black. And according to science, black means death. So we're saying Black Lives Matter. Understand what I'm about to say now. Do Black lives really matter? We speaking lawful, not emotional. We know all lives matter, right? But speaking from a lawful standpoint, do Black lives matter? We have to define Black. And there lies your answer. And no, every Moor doesn't practice Islam or Islamism.
Okay.
You have Moors that practice other so-called religions. But our ancestors, they was practicing peace. You look at the Star and Crescent. That was created by who? The great God Allah, or whoever you identify with. Right?
So can I interrupt? I'm sorry. I appreciate all this information. Did you just say, or can you maybe unpack a little bit? You said so not all Moors practice Islamism, correct? So I'm just gonna say what I'm hearing. So you're saying being a Moor is a lifestyle, and then the application of Islamism is your choice, or however you choose to identify God, that the God you worship. Is that correct?
That is correct. The old time religion, like for example, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, he didn't bring us nothing new. He didn't bring us nothing new at all. What we practice is the old time religion. It's so old and ancient that most of our people don't recognize it because it's ours. We attribute it to somebody else over. You see what I'm saying?
What religion is that exactly?
What's my religion?
You say the old time religion that we had before we came here.
The practice of peace.
The practice of peace. Okay, so that it wasn't like an actual like. There's different. And there's different different Vodun, and there's different religions I know from like Western Africa, but it was called peace. I'm not sure I understand the piece the history together.
Okay, so let me say this. Number one, I'm not a know-it-all scholar, so
it's all right.
From beginning of times up until today, our people have had different religions, different ways of lives, different names of what they practice. At the end, and I'm not here to argue about what's first, second, third, or what's right. None of that.
Right.
At the end of the day, with all of our different names we went by, our religions, etc., different customs, ways of life, what matters and what's the ancient and most important way of life is the practice of peace and divine love and righteousness. All that other stuff people argue about, to me, is a distraction. It's not like I'm not gonna have it better because I say, oh, I'm a Muslim, and you say, oh, you're gonna have it better than me because you profess a Christian or you profess Buddhist or whatever. It's how we live.
Gotcha. So it's not so much a religion, it's a lifestyle.
Definitely
a lifestyle.
Okay.
Definitely.
And I say that because for me, I believe in God. I call God, right? But then man comes in and they go, then you're Catholic and you're a Lutheran. And so when you say religion, to me, my understanding of that is the man-made
denominations. Those those organized,
to put, right? And it comes with rules and what they accept. What you're saying and again, what I'm hearing is your God Allah, because that's how you identify with him, is your Islamism. However, the more part of you is just a lifestyle. There's no extra label or whatever. Your lifestyle is a lifestyle of peace. Is that what you're saying? The religion, yes, I get that, but the more part is the lifestyle of peace. Is that what you're saying?
Sister Black Pearl, you are more. If that answers your question.
My family's not from here, so I know that. I know that.
So you guys, when I, before, I hear about the Moorish temple, I heard Moors as in like the Northern Africans who were in Spain for 700 years. That's the Moors that I always heard of. So are you guys connected to that, or is that like something different? Because that was like part of the caliphate. Are you guys connected to that, or is that like a different thing?
Well, we are today what our ancient forefathers were then. There were Moors then, and we're Moors today. We're descendant of those ancient Moors. So, do I know those Moors that was in Spain personally? No. Do I know the history? Yes. When you say connected, we all connected. We have the same father and mother. We come from the same bloodline.
And who's that father and mother? I just want everybody, to be. I like the specifics of these things.
First and foremost, the God of your understanding, and secondly, Adam and Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we're not talking about the Adam and Eve.
Come on with it. You ain't got to tiptoe around it. Come on with it.
Not the Adam and Eve that many of us been taught about.
Okay, so break that down. So, what Adam and Eve are we talking about? I like the details of it.
Let me ask you a question real quick. I don't want to, because everybody probably wasn't taught as I was taught. I'm not gonna, assume. I was taught coming up that you had the Garden of Eden, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have for lack of a better term, a white man and white woman in the Garden of Eden.
Not in my mind, but yeah, that's what people.
That's what I was taught. I never believed that, but that's what I was taught. I had pictures and everything. They didn't look like me.
In my head, they got afros.
Everybody came from them. That's what I was taught.
Yeah.
That's not what we teach, and that's not what we know to be the truth. We know that's to be false.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. So what's your guys' version of Adam and Eve?
Well, in my studies, Adam and Eve wasn't one man and one woman. It was a people.
Oh, okay.
Well, that makes we all sense. Descendant of Adam and Eve.
That makes better sense, less incest.
Yes. You have to. Let me ask you a question, just on the Adam and Eve thing. If Adam and Eve was two individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had Cain and Abel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he killed his brother. Mm-hmm. And in this, I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. He said that he was scared to go to the other land because they may kill him.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
What other people is that?
Brother, I've gotten kicked out of Sunday school. It's never made sense to me. I don't know.
We Adam and Eve, and we got Cain and Abel right here. And why is he worried about some people harming him elsewhere?
It's one of the biggest plot holes.
The beginning of all and end of all,
It's like
that's just something to think about,
Yeah. There's always some weird explanation that doesn't make sense. It's, okay, I'm like, all right, cool, all right. It's like the biggest plot hole in ever in the book, but yeah.
Dr. Royale mentioned earlier about Moroccans, and I wanted to just touch on that real quick. Okay. We are descendants of Moroccans. And a lot of times when people hear that, the first thing they identify with is the Kingdom of Morocco in Northeast Africa. Mm-hmm. And when you go to today, yes, you have the indigenous people still there. They don't really show you them on TV, but you see, correct me if I'm wrong, you see the French, the amalgamated French ECC there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they like descendant of Moroccans. We're talking. Remember, you have to remember the word ancient. Mm-hmm. We're descendants of Moroccans born in America. Morocco wasn't just Northeast Africa that you know today. It was a Moroccan empire, which also consisted of North America, Central America, South America, and the adjoining islands. We're talking about an empire of Moors, regardless of what you want to call them. It was an empire of Moors, and we're descendants.
Wait, there was a Moroccan empire in North America, and you said
it exists today, but that's another conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it hasn't went anywhere.
Oh, okay.
You know how remember Eminem with a real Slim Shady, please stand up. The world is awaiting us to stand up and take our place amongst the affairs of men, because we don't even have an inkling of who we really are and what we're supposed to be really doing, what the mission really is.
So is your mission is not Islamism, right? Well, I guess it is peace, but your mission as Moors is for us to regain the knowledge of where we started from, right? For us to stand, and I'm just going off of what you didn't say this, but to regain that peacefully, but also in the process, you're not worried about what your religion is, because at the end of the day, God is God, and you know how you worship your God is that, but it's more of standing in our power and releasing what I'm hearing, the images and the narrative that were provided to us when we were brought over to America. Am I close to it?
You're close to it.
Okay.
Me, I am, for lack of better terms, worried about my religion, which is the practice of peace.
Okay.
That's a daily lifestyle. It's not.
It's all about peace.
I think when you say religion, to me, it goes back to what I was talking about.
Right.
That's
most of us
made, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I feel if peace is a lifestyle, it's a part of your whole being. All you are, you breathe, you speak, you eat peace, right? Religion, 1,000% to me is man-made, because there's so many different entities that is known as religion. But if there's only one God and you are God and you are made of God, then peace is not a religion. Peace is a part of who you are. It is more than a lifestyle. So that's why I'm like, when you say religion, and of course it's probably because I'm conditioned, automatic, I'm like, that's man-made. There's labels, you have to have it in it. Peace, I don't have to talk about it. I could walk into the room and bring peace into the room. So that's why and I'm being honest, every time you say religion, I'm like,
you're not the only one. I was conditioned, to not like that word either. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, because a lot of bad blood was spilled under the guise of religion. So I get it. I came up the same way you did for the most part. So I really didn't like the word either, but for lack of better terms, and so people can identify, peace and divine love, that's a way of life. We come into this world, demonstrating peace and love, but we're conditioned to demonstrate the opposite as time go by, picking up what we hear and see others do.
Yeah.
So Grand Sheik,
I'm born a Muslim.
Hey,
when they submit their will to the Creator.
Where do you fall in on Pan-Africanism, where people are like connected to like West Africa and the diaspora of so I know how you feel about the black thing, but I know the people who feel like like we're connected through the history of the transatlantic slave trade and being different places. Do you guys believe in that? Because I know there's like factual history of like West Africa, and they could tell you like relatives that got sent over to America in different parts of the world. Like it's like oral written histories of it. Do y'all subscribe to that, or was that part of the Morocco, or was that like something that y'all believe isn't true, or is of something else? Just curious.
Well, I can answer that according to my research and studies. According to my research and studies, some of our people was brought over here. That's a fact. There's no getting around that. And some of our people was already here. The landmass used to be one landmass before the Great Flood and Divide.
You mean Pangea?
Pangea.
That's one of the names. Tyrone. Look, Tyrone. That's one of the names. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, we was already here, and we do have people that was brought over here. That's just a fact. And like I say, regardless of being over here or over in the East, we all brothers and sisters. We have different customs and different ways of lives, and through the years, people have added things, taken away things, and I don't knock nobody for their way of life. You know what I mean? I respect all, and at the end of the day, it's all about divine love and righteousness. And far as our mission, part of our mission here in America is to bring awareness of our Creator, our true relation to our Creator, the truth that all the divine prophets taught, the truth about Jesus, and the truth about your American-born prophet, who was a universal prophet that most have no knowledge of. and it was strategically done. You hear about Malcolm X and all the other people, but you never hear about Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I wonder why. See, it ain't who the Europeans put in our face that we need to be really studying hard. It's who they keeping from you. This great man, and we can be here all night talking about the works of this great man and the recognition, etc., that he has received from the nations of the earth. The nations of the earth. Asiatic and European. That know who he is, but the ones he came to redeem don't believe. And some of us believe verbally, but in our actions, it shows something else. And it's not about worshiping this man. We worship no man. We worship none but the Creator, who we choose to call Allah. But we give honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali and all true and divine prophets.
Okay.
Concerning Dr. Royal earlier, before I forget, you mentioned the word race.
Yes.
You have one race, which is the human race. You with me?
Yes, sir.
That human race, that one human race is subdivided into two, Asiatics and Europeans. If you're not Asiatic, if you're not European, so-called white, then you're Asiatic. That's why the European is actually the minority on the global scale. And they're fighting desperately because their numbers are dwindling, birth rates dwindling, and you know the rest.
Right. Yep, I got it.
So this might be controversial. So if a European person wanted to join them, I'm just asking.
No, you're fine.
If they wanted to join, or if they appear to be European, but they can prove that they were more also, would they be able to join that the more lifestyle? Or I should say the Islamism lifestyle? Because I think more you born into. I'm just asking also.
Humans, nah, you good. It's no controversy to me. It's like I either know the answer
Good
or
question.
you know what I'm saying? I don't sidestep no questions.
Okay.
We can't determine who practice what in the world.
Okay.
Can a European, a so-called white, take out membership in our Moorish Science Temple of America? No, because it's not for them.
Okay.
Can they
because you're born a Moor, correct?
Of course.
Okay.
So,
the only
they're
one that
not
can
born
change a
Moors.
decent nature is the great God Allah himself.
Okay. I understand.
So the Europeans aren't born Moors.
No, Europeans are Europeans.
So they
Yeah. When he says born a Moor, he means from the tribe. I mean, you can't be European and Moor. You're one of the.
Let me ask you something. We come from an ancient people. And you don't have to answer this right now. You can, just do some research into it. Just, according to your research, tell me how far back you can trace the Europeans.
In our own time, in our own family, or in general?
In general.
No. We already know that what is known as the African or the Black person is the oldest known. The oldest fossils they find a fossil and go, well, that's wrong. They find another one, that's wrong. It's Black. That's also why we call them Black African American women have the structure of DNA of every nationality that's out there, because we are the beginning and the end outside of God. That's well known. I just want to know because I just want to know.
So you're just pitching it out there.
I'm just putting it out there because it's not just the four of us talking.
The more,
it's more people, and people want, if you're on here to educate us, I'm here to also ask questions to kind of, hey, let's go to the
kind
left.
of bridge.
That's right. That's right. And
my family's not from here, so I grew up my whole life knowing that the skin that I see, I should never be ashamed of. I should never look to lighten it. I should no, and I also teach my children that if you are really as bad as people want you to be, right, then why are they trying so hard to convince you of that, right? That's when something is spoiling, you don't go and go, oh, you're spoiled fruit. You just let it get there rotten, just like on a tree. You don't even cut it off the tree. It will fall off itself, right? So I've always been raised like that, but I've also been raised to understand that you can't say God makes no mistakes except for Black people. No, that doesn't work. God makes no mistakes, but the mistake that is being made is you're being fed that you were the mistake. You are the sacrifice, versus the fact that there's something deeper, stronger, and more to being an African American, to be whatever you want to call it, whatever the label is. There is a purpose within you that we are going to continue over and over and over again to be in this lifestyle until we learn what we need to learn for the purpose of why we were put here. That I've been taught that my whole life.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm just letting you know it's not God is God. All these other labels, just like, man,
and
that's
look,
how I feel.
and
You better go to that temple. You ready?
Who me?
yes.
I do have a quick comment.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, dear. I'm sorry.
You know, we fail. We fail from the highest plane of life. And our primary purpose in life is to get back to the highest plane of life with the God of our understanding. Everything else is a hobby.
So when you say when you say the God of our understanding, that means like whatever God you
everybody don't identify
you understand it to
the
be,
creator
right?
as Allah. Some identify as Jehovah, etc. So out of respect, I say the God of your understanding.
Okay.
Some people think when I say Allah, I'm worshiping a different God than them. And I don't take that offensively because that's just where they at along the road. They don't know no better.
Okay, I just want to clarify.
It don't matter what you call, you know, like I'm not tripping. I know who I identify the creator as, but I know ain't one creator. You see what I'm saying?
So I gotta hit a hot topic. Okay.
Yes. And y'all need to get on my wife too now.
Oh, I'm coming out to wait.
You said you jump in. So
look, she talk more than I do.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, feel free to
just jump in, like like in the rope. You just jump in.
So
Dr. Royer, what's your question?
So really quickly, so when I want to make it clear that oftentimes MSTA has this stigma that they are. Yeah, I got you. You come on in a second, but hold on. Hold your mule. Hold your mule. So look, so really quickly, MSTA has a stigma that they are sovereign citizens.
Yeah.
Okay? And so, and I gotta hit it because we got people watching. We want to just. I'm trying to make sure we clear some air. Okay.
Can't be having a gun on the dude. I'm a sovereign citizen. Leave me alone. I'm like, brother, stop. What are you?
So can we kind of touch on this a little bit, Sheikh Nasir and Sheikh is Hope? Can we kind of touch on this a little bit and unpack the and let me say, everyone, I know what I know. No, I'm not. I identified as a Moor myself. I have been to Temple 39. Yes, I have. But shut your face. But
she's an honorary member.
But I do know what I know, and the concern that I have is that oftentimes because of this image, this stigma that's out there, it puts a bad projection on MSTA as a whole, because as you said earlier, you are speaking specifically for you, but there are different thought processes that are out there that is contradictory to living a life of peace. But go ahead, Ty. What you want to say?
I'm not gonna lie. I thought y'all were crazy because I kept seeing them YouTube videos, like the guy squatting in a house. That's not. He's like, I'm a sovereign citizen. You gotta leave me alone. And like the cop is like, what?
Right.
Somebody else owned this house.
I'm glad y'all brought that up. Because that's a bunch of confusion.
That's a whole lot of confusion. Come on with it.
If I was on the outside looking in,
yes,
I'm watching YouTube, etc. I would say they're crazy too. and something inside of me would tell me that can't be right.
Mm-hmm.
So I want y'all to just be mindful of, and y'all know this, regardless of what's your way of life, what you label it or whatever, you're gonna have, no matter what the organization is, you're always gonna have what they call bad apples, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if a Muslim shoot and kill somebody, or a Christian shoot and kill somebody, it's not woe to all the Christians or woe to all the Muslims. You see what I'm saying? That person, that individual just had life messed up. You see what I'm saying? So to the sovereign citizen thing, there's no such thing as a sovereign citizen. There's no such thing. Now, can you be a citizen of a sovereign nation? Yes. Now, when you see ones, and I'm generalizing it.
Yes, sir.
I don't know every individual that calls themselves a sovereign citizen, but ones that you see out here trying to break the law, squatting on people's property. I don't need license to drive. I don't need this and the law. I'm immune to the laws and all that stuff. They don't understand what being a citizen is. They don't understand government, their relation to the government, and their duty in being obedient to the laws of the land. Okay. Now, for example, real quick, not to get too much into this, but we don't subscribe to sovereign citizenship.
Okay.
Did y'all hear that, America?
Well,
go ahead.
Members of the more, and I'm speaking for all of Moorish Science Temple of America now. Moorish Science Temple of America is founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We do not subscribe to what they call sovereign citizenship. Your goal is to become a true citizen of the Republic of the United States of America, not a sovereign citizen where the laws don't apply to you. You see what I'm saying?
Understand the wording. Please understand the wording.
If I come in your house and squat on your house talking about it's mine, I'm breaking the law.
You're gonna have a problem.
And I'll be lucky if I don't get shot.
Hello, thank you. I'm glad you said it.
So when you're looking at YouTube and all this stuff, those are misguided people. Some of them really think they're demonstrating correctly. They don't know no better. They've been taught wrong. Just like our people been taught wrong from beginning about a lot of things. They have been taught wrong in Moorish science.
Yeah.
Some learn the hard way. Some end up coming to a lawful temple and finding out what's real and what's not. Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't teach that. He taught obedience to government. That don't mean we allow the government what's wrong, because we have rights.
Right.
Well,
We have unalienable rights, God-given rights that the Constitution don't give us rights. It protects our rights that's given to us by God.
yeah, he's supposed to be born.
We're not allowed, we don't allow them to run over us, but we are obedient to the law. We know right from wrong before we think, say, or do anything.
Right.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We may not always heed to the higher self, to what's right, but we know what's right before we think it, when we think it, before we say it and do it. We have people who have a slave mentality that they hear they are more, they've been told they can get away with this, that, they don't got to pay taxes, they ain't got to do this, they don't need a driver license, all this stuff. And in the midst of that, it's a thing or two that may be true, but the way they're going about it is illegal.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It does make sense.
So they going to jail. Okay. So all right. Okay.
I have a question for Sheikis Hope. Sorry, I want to make sure I get it right. Honor you. So in my belief of God, I think a lot of us nowadays, women, struggle with the thought that we are very powerful even when we're not in the forefront, right? And again, I don't understand everything about, So the God I believe in says that the woman is the heart, right? And if you think of the human body, the heart is the most powerful part of the body. I want to know what the role of women are in your lifestyle.
Oh, that's a good question.
Great question.
And also because you're quiet and I know you have a lot to say. Well, she's quiet right now and I know she has a lot to say. So I wanted to know what the role of the woman is in your moral lifestyle.
Okay, Islam, no problem, no problem. Yeah, I love talking to Drew Ali talk. So let's go. All right. Islam.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
I want to answer that question, but I want to go back to what he was talking about earlier when he was speaking about, Allah, who said that he's going to send to every nation of people. He's going to rise them up a brethren to every nation of people who looks just like them, talks just like them, speaks their language, right? That's in Deuteronomy 15 and Deuteronomy 18, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to ask yourself, our nation of people, who would your prophet be that looks just like you, that speaks your language in a language that you can understand? No translation is needed, because I know all my life what was thrown in my face was a pale skin Jesus. Blonde hair, blue eyes. He doesn't look like me. He doesn't know the plight of my people, right? So we had one that was sent to us. So you have to ask yourself, why are you not special? Why are you undeserving of a prophet to be sent to you? That's the first question you got to ask yourself, right? So Allah heard our plight. Our ancestors was out in the fields. They were getting beat. Our sisters was getting raped. Babies was taken from them, fed to alligators, etc. And they were calling out. They were calling out for a savior, someone to come save them. Allah loves his children, and he's not going to leave his children in a situation. So he sent us a prophet that looks just like us, that speaks our language. He was raised up from amongst us, and he understood our plight. And his name is Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And as he stated, he was born in the state of North Carolina, 1886, right over here.
What part? What part of North Carolina was he born in?
That part is a little controversial, so I'm not even going to get in that. But just know, the state of North Carolina, 1886.
Okay.
Depends on who you talk to, Brother Tyrone.
Exactly. He came at a time where you had Jim Crowism that was at the height, where you had the KKK that was lynching our brothers and sisters, hanging them from trees. But yet this Asiatic was getting dignitary protection, going from state to state. He was the only one who was able to come here in the United States and legally teach Islamism. The first one who was able to come over here and teach Islamism, which is the practice of peace, which is the way of life. And so what he brought back to us was our nationality and our divine creed.
And our beautiful flag.
Correct.
The cherry tree.
Which is
Tyrone.
a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center. And this 5-pointed green star stands for the 5 highest principles known to man, the 5 highest principles known to man, which are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
So is that like similar to the 5 pillars of Islam?
Similar, but different.
Okay.
Right? 5 highest principles known to man. He brought that back to us because we didn't know who we were. The other thing you have to ask yourself, we are the only nation of people every 10 years where you get to choose if you want to be Black, if you want to be Afro-American, if you want to be African-American, if you want to be Negro. We are the only nation of people who get to choose that. Everybody else, if you're white, you're what? You're white. If you're Chinese, you're Chinese. So you got to ask yourself, why are you able to check so many different boxes down the line? If your mother was Black and your father was Black, then you're going to be Black. But yet you get to come in and say, well, I don't want to be Black. I want to be African American. If your great-great-grandma was Negro and then somehow your mother ended up being Black, how is that? That was done on purpose to bury you so deep and put you so deep in a hole that it would take you.
Nope.
CIA, man, cut it out. Feds, man, these feds, man, they wow. But I identify as chocolate myself, so
we see Mr. Chocolate.
Everybody loves some chocolate.
Oh my gosh, I cannot.
Okay.
All right.
There you go. Keep
There
that.
you go.
Okay. All righty. So what I was saying was that was done on purpose. So it would bury you in a hole so deep that it would take you many years to climb out of
That shallow grave.
that shallow grave. And so Allah knew that. And so what he did was he sent us a prophet to be able to springboard us up from the bottom of that shallow grave and take us to the top and let us know our true nationality and our divine creed. So we here at the Moorish Science Temple of America, we teach our people, number one, to proclaim your nationality. And then we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. We do not go against the government. We have within the Moorish Science Temple of America what is called the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. And these are laws that we, as proclaimed Moorish American Muslims of the Moorish Science Temple of America, faithful dues paying members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we must subscribe to. We don't have a choice. Yes, we don't have a choice as to whether we want to adhere to these laws or not. These laws are put in place to protect us. So when we're talking about the sovereign citizens, right, I want to speak of two acts specifically. One is Act 4 and one is Act 5. And within those acts, it states, paraphrasing, that all members must obey the laws of the government. Because by being a Moorish American, you are part and partial of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5 lets us know that this organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we're not to cause any confusion. And so what those sovereign citizens are doing, they're causing confusion. So we're not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. So if we adhere to these laws that we have, then we're not going to have those problems. Okay. So that's why we have these laws. It's a set of laws that governs us, right? So we have our own customs, we have our own laws. And so as a Sheikah in the Moorish Science Temple of America, my job as a woman, and we uplift the woman, because let me see, you got your 101 questionnaire.
Demonstrate.
Okay. So right here, I don't know if y'all can see this or not.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right here, what I have right here, this is Quran questions for Moorish Americans. Quran questions for Moorish Americans. And what I want you to see right here, this is a picture depicting our Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And in his arms, he is holding up humanity, which is also known as the woman, right? Bringing her out from, you see all this darkness and chaos back here, bringing her out from the darkness and the chaos of the world and placing her on the solid rock of salvation. Because see, there's only one way that a child or a man or woman can be produced, and that's through the womb of a woman. So he is uplifting the system. When you uplift the sister, you uplift the nation.
Facts.
So our jobs as sisters within the Moorish Science Temple of America, our instructions are, dear mothers, teach these lessons to your little ones that they may learn to love instead of hate. So we have a hierarchy there, but we're not put to the side. We have a place because the mother is the first teacher. We're teaching our children while they're in the womb. And so even if a sister comes into the temple and she hasn't produced any children of her own, she's still a mother, and her job is to still teach. And so in order for us to teach, then we must know these lessons. And so what our prophet brought to us is he brought us what we call here. This is our holy book. And our holy book is called the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I was going to ask.
Only prepared by our noble prophet Drew Ali, right? Who was sent to redeem us from our sinful ways.
Well, that's the book. That's y'all's holy book.
Yes, this is our holy book, right? And see, it takes
about the 18 years too.
I'm getting ready to get into that. And so this book right here, in addition to this book right here, if you go into Revelations, it's prophesied. It tells you about the man who comes out to sea and he stands. He has 1 foot on the sea and 1 foot on the rock. It's right here in Revelations in your holy Bible. Okay. So this holy book right here, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Pages. It looks little. How many pages is that?
Which one? This book?
Yeah.
It is 62 pages.
Can I tell them why it's so small real quick?
Yeah, you can tell them why it's so
The
small.
reason why it's so small, it's a pamphlet, right? It's a pamphlet.
Yeah.
Because it takes a really big book to cover up the truth.
Oh yeah, hey man, I like that little book. I like
it takes a very small book to reveal the truth.
I'll read through that.
This pamphlet clears up all confusion, brother, if only you read it.
Hey.
So thank you so much for that, Sheikah. That was, they were right. You had a lot to say, and it was good. I mean,
we thought she was quiet over here.
She ain't got stopped.
I didn't think she was quiet. I wanted to give her opportunity to show that she was silent, but she's still strong. And I think
because they be like, look, they don't let they women talk. Look at them.
I have a request real quick.
Yes, sir.
I want because it's a lot of misunderstanding and confusion. Not just with the Moorish Science Temple, but in the world in general. But as far as the Moorish Science Temple of America, you know, I pray those that are listening, instead of going to YouTube University, instead of listening to people or what you heard or whatever the case, come to the Moorish Science Temple of America with your questions and bring Jesus with you. The missing 18 years of his life that's not in the Bible is right here. Why did they take out 18 years of this man's life? It's something they're hiding from you. Okay. But anyway, come to the Moorish Science Temple of America and learn the truth for yourself.
People tight out here.
Man knows not by being told. Come learn the truth for yourself. Come with your questions and bring Jesus with you. Empty your cup, put the cotton in your mouth, take it out of your ears, put it in your mouth, and come listen and come ask your questions. And Allah alone grants you the understanding.
We can come with any religion. I like that. You can come with any religion down trip. No, everybody's welcome.
We've come a bit past our hour, which is fine. It was such
a
conversation.
Well worth it.
So we want to thank Sheikh Nazir and Sheikah's Hope. I'm gonna say Sheikah's Hope again because she was like pow pow. So I want to thank you guys for coming and sharing and being open to share with us. This was
we give y'all honors for inviting us.
Yeah, it's very honest and open, and we appreciate that we are open to all. We want to thank all the people in the comments for supporting your brother and your sister this evening and sharing your it's just encouragement. It was really good to see. I want to thank our experienced family for joining us and having an open mind tonight for this on the special night on the special topic. We will post information about Temple 39 for those of you who are accepting the invitation for Sheikh Nazir and Sheikah's Hope.
Absolutely.
If you want to go and learn, and what he said, take the cotton out your ear and put it in your mouth. That was a sincere invitation. So again, thank you for joining the experience, where the experience is always good. You guys have a wonderful night.
Thank y'all so much.
Y'all.
Peace and love.